Good happy Friday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Friday evening edition of WRMK News 12. It is Friday, January 2nd, 2025. I'm Riley King, and let's get started now. First up, we're gonna talk about your evening traffic and see how the evening traffic looks like for this Friday evening. Drivers heading through eastern New Hampshire should expect delays this evening along Route 16 near New Hampshire-Maine border. The traffic is moving slowly in the area north of Rochester, approaching Sanford, where an incident has been reported. Congestion is backing up in both directions, and motorists are advised to allow extra travel time or consider alternate routes if possible. Conditions elsewhere across the region remain mostly clear with steady traffic on major highways, including I-93 and I-89. And that is a look at your traffic, and now let's get to your news for this evening. 2 killed in New Year's Eve head-on crash in Danville. Driver faces felony charges. 2 people were killed in a head-on collision in Danville on New Year's Eve, authorities said. Emergency crews responded at approximately 4:47 p.m. to a serious crash on Main Street near Coburn Hill Road. Investigators determined that a 2023 Dodge Challenger traveling north crossed the double yellow center line into oncoming traffic. The Dodge was driven by Derek Coate, 41 of Danville, officials said. The vehicle struck a southbound 2016 Nissan Altima driven by Brian Morris Sr., 65, of Fremont. The Altima was also occupied by Brian Morris, 36, also of Fremont. Following the impact, the Dodge rolled onto the northbound side, while the Nissan spun and came to rest on the opposite side of the roadway. Both occupants of the Nissan were trapped inside the vehicle and were extracted by responding fire crews. Despite life-saving efforts, they were pronounced dead at the scene. Coate was transported to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities said their investigation found that Coate showed signs of impairment. He has been charged with 2 felonious counts of negligent homicide and felonious aggravated driving under the influence of drugs. An arraignment was scheduled for today. Main Street was closed between Happy Hollow Road and Coburn Hill Road for approximately 5 hours as investigators processed the scene. Vehicles were removed and debris cleared. The roadway reopened at 9:14 p.m. Multiple agencies assisted at the scene, including local and regional police and fire departments, the New Hampshire Office of Chief Medical Examiner, and the Danville Highway Department. The crash remains under investigation. Anyone with information is asked to contact Trooper Eric at eric.m.torrens@dwest.newhampshire.gov. Sunapee fire officials urge alarm safety after stove incident fills home with smoke. Fire officials in Sunapee are reminding residents of the importance of working smoke and carbon monoxide alarms following a fire-related incident at a home on New Year's Day. At approximately 7:30 p.m., the Sunapee Fire Department was dispatched to Gardner Bay in the Grand Lee Den area after a fire alarm activation. Upon arrival, firefighters were met by a neighbor who reported heavy smoke inside the residence and said the homeowners were not at home. Officials said crews entered the condo and encountered significant smoke conditions caused by a pot left on the stove for an extended period after the occupants had left the home. Firefighters checked for fire extensions into the walls but found none. Crews then worked quickly to ventilate the residence and clear the smoke. Prior to the fire department's arrival, neighbors entered the condo and rescued 2 dogs that were inside. The animals were not injured. Fire officials credited the home's functioning smoke and carbon monoxide alarms for the rapid notification, allowing firefighters to respond promptly despite the absence of occupants. They said the incident serves as an important reminder for residents to ensure all alarms are installed and working properly, noting that early alert helped to prevent further damage and ensure the safe rescue of the pets. Tugboat sinks in Mystic River overnight. Recovery expected to take months. A 60-foot tugboat sank to the bottom of the Mystic River in Boston overnight, according to a spokesperson for the U.S. Coast Guard. The vessel was marooned behind a business at 333 Terminal Street beneath the Tobin Bridge when it went down. Officials said the tugboat was unoccupied and inactive at the time of the incident. Only an antenna remains visible above the water. Authorities said the tugboat's engine had been stripped, leading investigators to believe there were no hazardous materials on board at the time it sank. Coast Guard officials said the recovery effort is expected to take several months, citing the complexity of raising the vessel from the river bed. No injuries were reported, and no additional details were immediately available. And coming up next is your sports report. That's coming up next. Do not go anywhere. Good evening, I'm Riley King, and welcome to your WRMK News 12 Sports Report for this Friday evening. Let's get started now. First up, 2 New Hampshire natives named to the 2026 U.S. Olympic Women's Ice Hockey Team. 2 athletes with New Hampshire ties have earned spots on the 2026 U.S. Olympic Women's Ice Hockey Team, officials announced today. Veteran forward Hillary Knight, a former resident of Hanover, and defensive man Caroline Hanover of Salem were among the 23 players selected to represent the United States at the Winter Games. Knight, who plays at the University of Wisconsin, is one of the most accomplished players in U.S. women's hockey history. She helped Wisconsin capture 2 NCAA Division I national championships and has represented the United States in 4 Olympic Games. Knight has also completed extensively in international play with U.S. women's national team and was previously named the IIHF Female Player of the Year. Harvey, also a member of the University of Wisconsin program, brings a strong international resume to the roster. The Salem native has represented the United States at 1 Olympic Winter Games and has competed in 5 International Ice Hockey Federation Women's World Championships. She has won 2 NCAA national titles and has participated in several other international tournaments with the national team. The 2026 U.S. Olympic Women's Ice Hockey Team features 21 additional players, including 11 athletes with prior Olympic experience, as the team prepares to pursue another gold medal run on the world stage. Bruins Swayman and McAvoy named to Team USA Olympic roster. Boston Bruins goaltender Jeremy Swayman and defenseman Charlie McAvoy has been selected to represent Team USA at the Olympic Winter Games this season. Swayman, 27, has spent his entire NHL career in Boston and was named to the first NHL All-Star team in 2024. McAvoy, 28, recently turned to the lineup after recovering from a jaw fracture suffered earlier this season. The U.S. roster also features several players with Massachusetts ties. Team USA will compete for Olympic gold when NHL players return to the games in 2026 this year. Celtics roll past the Kings 120-106. The Boston Celtics continued their strong run with a convincing 120-106 win over the Sacramento Kings last night. Boston set the tone early, scoring 34 points in the second quarter to take control and never looked back. The Celtics outscored Sacramento 32-18 in the fourth quarter to seal the victory, improving their record to 21-12 and holding on to third place in the Eastern Conference. Sacramento, which fell to 8-26, kept the game close through three quarters, but struggled down the stretch as Boston's depth and defensive pressure took over. The Celtics will look to build on the win as they continue their push up the Eastern Conference standings. And that does it for your Friday evening WRMK News 12 Sports Report. And welcome back. Thank you for watching this evening edition of WRMK News 12 on this Friday evening. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with more news coverage and sports coverage. Good night and goodbye.